let's continue on to part 2 on what the hell happened to EmpressKateTarot. So, okay, I said last time we were going to pick up on what happened with Barry, what happened with Vida, and then just a little bit more in between. So, okay, looking for a house. I want to just talk about that. That experience in itself was so draining. Like, I had no idea how over my head I was in thinking I could just get a house, okay? Or not like necessarily buy a house, but rent a house. Like, we just wanted to rent a house because we need a yard. Now, the process with that was we tried to look on our own. Every time we went to go look somewhere, it was already like applied for and approved, and the website was just moving too slow to take the listing down. So every house that we liked was gone, okay? Like, gone. Like, as soon as you see it online, you might as well just apply without even seeing it, because otherwise you're probably not going to be able to get it. So either way, there was this one experience that really stuck with me, and it really bothered me because I was just like, I didn't know that was possible. But anyway, so I had applied for this house, running around like a chicken with my head cut off every morning, because at this point I'm feeling like, I'm homeless. Like, I have to find somewhere to live. I have to find somewhere to move, okay? At the time, my stuff is still sitting in that apartment, but I'm not there, and I'm just so upset that my brand new stuff, like I bought like a new sectional, I bought 2 new sectionals actually, I bought a dining room table, all types of stuff to go in there, and yeah, I mean, granted, I was able to get everything clean, but stress. So anyways, I applied for this house. Well, I see this house. It's a townhouse at that. And no real yard space, and kind of like a tight community. And on top of that, it's closer to the east side. If you know Atlanta, it's like on the east side, Snellville area, between where Gwinnett and the east side meet. And so you would think the prices in that area would be, moderate, but not extremely high. The rent was listed for $19.50. So when I'm going back and forth with the real estate agent, first off, let me say this. I gave up on trying to find something myself. So I then hired a realtor to find me a home. This realtor, it was like, why do you keep having me drive to these houses that have applications on them? Sir, I need somewhere to live now. I have mold in my apartment. I cannot live there, right? Okay, so paid like $250 to basically keep this guy on retainer from whenever I hired him until December. So he still sends me homes every day, and I'm just like, but whatever. So he sends me this, I think he sent me this one house, and at the time there's only one application on it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe a second application, and we'll just offer to put 3 months rent up front. And hopefully they'll, just take us, because in my world, money talks, I feel like. So, he was going out of town the weekend of showing. So I'm going back and forth with the real estate agent that's representing the home. And, at first she was just like, you don't make enough money. And I was like, I don't understand how. Relook at the statements I've calculated. So, that's another thing. I've learned through this entire experience that, like, if it's not personal, then nobody cares, okay? Like, literally, when they say the world does not care, the world does not care. So, after she finally, saw what I was talking about, she was like, oh, okay, well, you can come and see the house at 1 p.m. on Sunday. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm thinking, because, we're offering 3 months up. There's only one application on it. This should be easy, right? No, I get there. I'm the type of person, I like to get there early, check out the neighborhood and stuff. When I got there and drove around there the first time, nobody was there. So I went to go park at the Family Dollar down the street just to kind of like chill for a second and talk to my best friend. When I pull back up to that house, why are there like 6, 7, 8 cars parked outside? And I'm just like, if this was going to be something like this, I wouldn't have even wasted my time and put it in an application and pay $150 for us to apply for no reason. Because by the time I saw the house, I had emailed her and said, hey, we love the house. We would, we would like to rent here. We're willing to put up 3 months worth of rent. She then emails me back and says, oh, remember, the listing was at $1,950. Someone's already offered $2,100 and a 2-month deposit. So I'm like, so we're negotiating for rental properties now? Never knew that was a thing. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll do $2,250 and a 2-month deposit. Someone outbid us. I said, I'm not paying more than that for a townhouse with no yard. Like, I really didn't even want to go through with the $2,250. I just didn't know what to do in the state of panic because I didn't know that you could bid on a rental unit. So I'm thinking, whatever. So at this point, I was like, okay, we're back to the drawing board. We're back to square one. This isn't going to be it. Fine. So I found a few apartments that I liked. At this point, my boyfriend's like, I don't care. Just find us something. I trust your judgment on everything. So, what happened? Oh, yeah. So I found a few apartments that I liked. As I'm driving towards one, because I had put in my information, they had called me. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm on my way there. And they're like, oh, we have no 3 bedrooms. Yeah, we need a 3-bedroom because we need space. Like, my boyfriend has his own game room, set up, anime, all that. And then I got my own zone. Like, this is my domain of Zen. So, what happened? Where was I? I'm sorry. Where was I? Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at apartments. They called me and they're like, we have no 3 bedrooms until October. We needed to move like yesterday at this point. This was in August. Mind you, I still don't know what's going on with my apartment. But what got their attention was I told them, I was like, I'm not going to pay you rent until you pay attention to me. So, they ended up calling me, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so I'm calling these places. They have no 3 bedrooms. So I just literally, as I'm driving, I immediately go to apartments.com because I'm like, this is the quickest that I can get to on an app. And I found where I am sitting right now. And so I went up here. They only had 2 available, one on the first floor, one on the second floor. So I was like, perfect. First floor, easy moving. I don't care about neighbors upstairs because I like to play music. So if I play music, you stomp around, we're even. That's how I kind of feel about it. And so came here, applied, we were approved within like 30 minutes. And I was just like, okay, I can breathe a little bit because I at least know that all this hell I'm sitting in is definitely and entirely temporary. And we have a move-in date to look forward to. Now, let's get back to Barry. Okay. We'll call this, what do I want to call this place? We'll call the place that I am Miami. I don't know. I'm going to just call it Miami. So, so back to Barry. So at Barry, they finally, they put a notice on my door stating of eviction. So I'm just like, okay, well, how are we going to resolve this? You guys want your money and I want out of the lease. So the assistant manager basically helped me and she was just like, yeah, we'll just let you out the lease. No penalties. You just got to pay. And she was like, if you paid $300 or $397, and be out by the 11th of August, then squared away. No problems, no issues, no nothing, no evictions, no anything. So I'm like, okay, great. Cause I'm thinking they're going to expect a whole nother month of rent. And I'm just like, it's not going to happen. So I basically had to at that point, I had to get a storage unit. Fortunately, they had, I think like maybe one more storage unit available that could hold all of my stuff for free, for first month free. I only needed the storage unit for a week because I had to pay for a U-Haul twice. So I moved my stuff out of that apartment into the storage unit. And then the following week I had to go back to the storage unit and move the stuff out. But you guys think that as we're getting closer to the end of all of this, it gets better. No, hell no. Okay? Hell has no fury like haters on my life because I feel like I've been getting tried. Like people have been coming for me and I'm just like, who don't like me? Okay? Because I don't understand why everything is hard. But anyways, so I get everything packed up and it looked like it's going to rain on the day that I'm supposed to be moving my stuff from the apartment into the storage unit. And by the way, when I say support is real. Like, I have real friends, you guys, because every time I've ever had to move, I've always had at least 1 to 2 friends that was there to help me. This time it was like I had an army. Like, I literally had 3 people come help me clean up, pack, move all of my stuff. Then 2 of my brothers came in, and then one of my brothers had to go out of town. So then my other brother and his friend came in, my boyfriend, like, he's working, like, but either way, it's like, though it was stressful, we got it done. So it looked like it was going to rain on the day of me moving my stuff into the storage unit, and it did rain. But I remember my brother saying, like, it's going to rain. And I was like, no, it's not going to rain on my parade. And we literally got everything into the storage unit. When we got the last piece of furniture into the double doors, double doors, said it funny, to the double doors, then it started raining. I was like, yeah, it's like the devil works hard. Satan does not sleep, okay? He constantly works, but guess what? No weapon formed against me shall ever prosper, okay? I live by that. So I had a missed phone call through all this moving, and it's from Miami, from this place. And guess what they called me to say? They called me to tell me that the tenant prior to me, kind of ran down the apartment pretty bad, worse than they anticipated or would have hoped for. So I'm just like freaking out, like, so what does that mean? They're saying, well, we're going to need like, they were like, with pests and everything, it's going to take like an additional 2 weeks or something like that. And I'm like, we don't have that time. We just don't have that time. So I'm like, well, do you have anything else available? They have no 3 bedrooms, and their sister properties also don't have anything available, except for one that was literally right down the street, but they were 2nd floor, and the rent would have went up by like $200. So I'm just like, and it was technically smaller. So I'm just sitting here like, God, I know you don't hate me, but what's the plan? Like, I dead ass called my best friend and was just like, I understand why people say this, even though I don't mean it. I don't think God is picking on me, but I just understand it because it's just like, when it rains, it pours. And when you're in the middle of the thick of it, you just feel like you're being picked on. And this is when you have to learn to not take things so personally and start to really, you have to sit still and be calm and try your best to shift your perspective no matter what challenge is thrown at you. Because what we fail to realize is this isn't checkers, life is chess, and there's so many pieces on the table or on the board that are moving, and it may seem like it's against us, but it's actually for our favor. So I called them. I was just like, okay. So I talked to the other place, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to pay another $200. Like, that's completely out of the budget. I'm trying to save money, not spend more money. And I was just like, I talked to my boyfriend, and he was just like, look, babe, how bad is it? You know what I mean? Like, how bad is it? Because as far as I'm seeing everything, we have to move there. So we're going to figure this out. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to figure this out. So we tried our best, and I'm going to explain to you why we had to try our best to go to sleep that night, because the apartment we were staying in, Vida, was a whole nother nightmare. But yeah, Barry is now officially squared away and done. Keys are returned. I'm done. My stuff's moved out. So we're moving on from Barry. Now we got Vida and Miami. So back to Miami though. I came up here first thing in the morning, like 9 o'clock. Like, as soon as they open their doors, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not expecting to see fairy tales and all types of goody in this apartment, but let me see what the problem is so I can see how bad it is. So I came to see the apartment, and wow, I was blown away with how huge this apartment is. It feels like a ranch-style home. Like, we have a long hallway. We have a guest bathroom, our master bathroom. Like, he has a nice room. I have a nice room. Eventually, you guys will get to see it all. Like, our living room is massive. Everything is just, like, times 3, okay? Like, I thought I said I asked for space, and I thought I was getting it in Barry. But no, I was manifesting the space that I have here in Miami. But we'll get to it. But either way, so I come and look at it. Yeah, they definitely did live in here, and they ran it down. Like I could see like, I mean, I couldn't see like the bug issue or whatever, or the pest issue, but I definitely saw how they like kind of just lived in here kind of rough. So they had to replace all of the carpets, everything. So I told them, I was like, look, we just gonna see how this turns out, and we're gonna make it do what it do, but we're still moving in come August 20th. And I told him, I was like, we're not going to give you a hard time. I was like, pest is something we can remedy because I have OCD. I'm super clean, and I will do everything on top of everything that you're doing to get them out of here. Let me tell you, God is good, because we haven't been having that many pest problems since we moved in. They sent pest control twice. They send them weekly, but they sent twice to come into the apartment and actually, you know, observe and analyze everything. So, move-in day gets here. No, I don't even want to get to move-in day. Let's rewind, okay? We're gonna, before we get all the way into Miami, let's detour down to Vida, where my boyfriend was living, okay? So let's rewind time before I moved out of Barry. I spent the night at my boyfriend's house, okay? Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any shape, form, or fashion, but this was a predominantly Latina community where a lot of them did not particularly speak English. And the reason why I learned that because of a traumatic experience, but we're going to get to it. So, either way, I think it was like maybe a week that he's lived there. And there were these, I don't know, I guess crazy couple tenants downstairs. It looked like it was a bando downstairs. I'm not even going to lie, you guys. I was just like, okay. So we're sleeping one night, and out of nowhere, you just hear pop, 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 pop. So we're freaking out, okay? Like, I immediately jump up. He jumps up. He's like, get on the floor. I'm like, okay. He goes and checks to make sure everything's okay. Military vet, I love you, babe. And, you know, he handled everything. Come to find out, because we're thinking it's like, you know, outside. It was right underneath us. The shooting happened in the unit right beneath us. We were sleeping on top of shooting, okay? The shooting was so bad that it shot into this van that was outside. Somebody that was just sitting outside waiting before they went to work or something. They drove off. They were scared. They didn't know what was going on. Police came, knocked on the door like, hey, you guys have to evacuate the building because the person is still in the building with a weapon. And we're just sitting here like, okay. So that was like strike one at Vida. By far the most ghettoest experience of my life. I was just like, y'all really don't care over here, okay? Like, it was trash always everywhere in the halls, on the steps, like, all types of just, wow, okay? I've never experienced this. So, but I will say the people weren't disrespectful. It was just, the neighborhood was just poorly taken care of. And so, what happened? Oh, yeah, that was first strike. Second strike was the AC would continuously go out. Like, maybe every other 2 weeks. It was like, there was a problem. Like, there was like at least 3 or 4 times that it's gone out. Mind you, my boyfriend moved into his apartment right before I moved into mine. So he's only been there just about as long as I've been in mine, except maybe like a couple weeks longer. Now, like, as we're getting closer to leaving, that's another thing. So we, you know, I already sent off the notice. I had to be the one to handle everything because he's the one going to work. So I had to go talk to his leasing office and be like, hey, did you guys even get the notice? Because nobody responded. And they were like, oh, we didn't even get the notice. Yada, 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 whatever. So we had to pay because we were actually there up until August 20th, which is, you know, in the state of Georgia, there is no protection for tenants. Honestly, probably the whole United States, there's no protection for anybody except for corporations and businesses. So you guys, if you don't know, you need to know. All right? So pay for the rent there. The AC went out, but this time, and usually they would send somebody. They sent somebody, but they did not come back. So I can only do but so much since I'm not on the lease at his apartment. And by the time he gets off work, the leasing office is closed. So mind you, my boyfriend's also in school and working. Okay, like just started his new job. So, you know, the AC went out, and on top of that, the AC unit is like leaking. So it's hot and it's humid, it's smelly. I'm like, I went from mold basically into another environment that's inhabitable, and it actually ended up developing mold, which helped us get out of having to pay the 60 days. But you know, so the part that was really tough for me was one, like, I just didn't like how the apartment was mapped out. It was worse than the apartment that I was even in. So, and they had bugs all throughout there too. But what killed me was when the AC went out the final time. It was right before we were going to move. We went in August without AC for an entire week. Okay? Sweat, like sweating in my sleep, like angry, like I don't even know how we didn't. I guess we were too hot and too tired to argue because it was just like, it was like in Total Recall when the fan stopped working and you're just like, right? Okay. So literally, like, we had to sleep in my car with the AC on one night. We had the fans blowing on the dogs. Poor babies. They were going through it. Cream don't know nothing. He's only like 2 months old or 3 months old. No, 2.5 months old. Like, okay, like he's fighting me with leash training. It was just the worst. But this is how I found out like a lot of people did not speak English in this neighborhood. So when my boyfriend wakes up to go to work, I usually wake up shortly after, take the dogs out, and then I'll come back in. We'll take a morning nap, and then I'll go on about my day. So, but this particular morning, and I left my phone, my keys, everything inside. I had 3 dogs on leashes, taking them for a walk. My boyfriend instinctively, you know, out of habit, locked the door. So I'm locked out with no phone, no keys. The leasing office is not open. So I'm walking around. I know minimal Spanish. I'm like, ayúdame. Teléfono, por favor. I'm trying to tell him, like, I need help. I need to call my boyfriend. I'm locked out. Like, I'm in boxers and a t-shirt with 3 dogs looking distressed, and I'm crying because I just don't know what to do, like, at all. And every time I was asking for help, it was as if they didn't either understand me or they didn't want to help me. Like, some of them even said they didn't have a phone. I'm like, how's that even possible? Because you're not going to get any work if you don't have a phone, I don't think. But, you know, hey. So, finally, I ran into a black guy, and he helped me, and I was just like, yo, like, I was frantic. So, yeah, that was another instance. But the worst part, I'll say, was it was so hot. Like, being without AC for an entire week while every day it's between 80, 90 degrees. Like, I don't know how we survived. I really don't. Like, I remember seeing him leaning over the dresser just like just trying to breathe. You know what I mean? Like, it was that hot. So, either way, that's really why Vida was just hell for me, because it was hot, it was ghetto, it was just too much. All right, it was too much on top of everything that was already going on. So yeah, I'm gonna just make this a 2-parter and let this be 30 minutes. So yeah, now here we are in Miami, right? Where the beaches are warm, the sand is white, the water's clear, you would think. So the move-in process, you know, was a whole nother animal, I guess we could say. Because when we moved in, first off, when I say we were so over Vida that we slept on an air mattress and under towels because we did not want to go back. It was not an option. So the next day I had reserved my U-Haul for like 1:15 because that was the earliest I could get it. I go pick it up. I didn't get my U-Haul until 4. And I remember it was me, my boyfriend, my brother, and his friend. We were all sitting in my boyfriend's game room. And we were talking about how, well, maybe we should just reserve one for the next day and start early. When I tell you, as soon as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, I just really don't want to sleep on the air mattress tonight. My phone rang. and the U-Haul is ready, and they're like, let's just knock this out. So we get all the stuff moved in. The apartment came with the washer and dryer, and this is a particular time where I just felt like my brother, who has passed away, was walking with me, because every time I felt stressed out, or, you know, I felt like something was going wrong, it was like my first thought would go back to him. It is also his birthday coming up next month and his death anniversary the following month. So it's a very sensitive time for me, but I really feel like my brother was there for me, because we figured out where the source to the bug problem was. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna get through this. So we found out where the source of the bug problem was, because their washer and dryer, I have a washer and dryer, by the way, but this apartment came with the washer and dryer, and no, you don't have an option to get the washer and dryer or not. So fortunately, the laundry room was so big, because it's like slash a pantry, that we could just slide the washer and dryers down and hook my washer and dryers up. So we did that. There was like a minor leak. We put a towel down. We thought that was the end of it, right? No. It leaked out into the kitchen. And also a little bit on the carpet outside of the kitchen. But they sent someone out immediately to get the carpet, because that was first thing. Like, and then the following day, someone else came out to assess the problem. And the crazy part is, the leak was coming from the hose from the washing machine initially. So while I'm out one day, I think it was like the following day, my boyfriend calls me and he was like, babe, like the water's leaked everywhere. So it made him have to get, you know, eye level to the ground. So there's this little space between like the cabinet and the dishwasher, all the way on the floor in the back, where it's just open. It was just filled with all types of stuff, an old baseball bat, all types of trash. And when the maintenance guy came the next day, after everything got cleaned up or whatever, he checked the washing machine to see, you know, what was the cause of the leak. And the leak was as if it never happened. Everything was functioning. Everything was working just fine. So my boyfriend is like, because he was like, so what did they say about the washing machine? And I was like, nothing. Everything was fine. Everything was working normal. Everything was perfect, actually. And he was like, that's so weird. I was like, no, babe. Because, you know, he's like slowly, you know, tapping into his spiritual side, I guess, but not necessarily fully dived in. So for me, it's like, you know, I know why this has happened. It was so that we could find the root to the problem, so that we won't have any problems going forward. When I say they came, they vacuumed it out, they cleaned it, they pulled out the stove, they pulled out the refrigerator. Like, I have had no issues here whatsoever. Miami has been great. It definitely was challenging coming in here, but yeah, that's kind of where I've been, you guys. If you follow me on social media, yeah, you've probably seen me go to Tennessee, Virginia. I went to an engagement boat party. Everything seemed normal, and that's how it's supposed to be, because you don't want everybody in your business. But yeah. By the grace of God, I'm here, I'm standing, and I'm coming back, and I'm here to fully expand and bring you guys a message. Some changes have definitely been written down and will be implemented. Yeah. And this is EmpressKateTarot, and I finally have a space where I feel like I can sit for a while. So you should definitely see a lot more of me. I know I've said that before, but I really mean it this time, because I don't feel like I'm going anywhere. I have plants, you guys. Oh, and by the way, my money tree where I lost all of my leaves. Let me see. I'm going to pull you guys over here so you can see Elizabeth. Let me bring you down. There you go. So as you kind of zoom in, I just want to point out this leaf is brand new, brand new, brand new, brand new. There's new sprouts. coming in the middle, over here, and even down at my roots, you guys. I'm gonna try and pick this up. Like, there's new life growing, okay? So, and then on top of that, I have this lucky bamboo. Pull this back up. Those are my other plants, you guys. I have plenty of plants now, like, and I love nurturing them and watching them grow. But, yeah, I have this lucky bamboo that I actually was, like, not able to take care of like that. And Temple, she's held me down. I'm going to go get her because I want you guys to see. When I first got her, she did not have all of this up here. All of this has sprouted probably even more since we moved here, but she was continuously growing, and whenever I would just kind of be sad, I would kind of look over at her. You know what I mean? Give me my little bit of hope. But this was the last leaf, and I decided to keep it because this was the last leaf that kind of like died and fell off from my money tree. And yeah, that's where the hell I've been, you guys. Like, I'm pretty sure there's so much more that goes into that. But I feel like some of it got blacked out for a reason because, can't look backwards. You can only move forward. So, no sense in harping over the past. Like I said, I'm here. I've got a lot that I want to show you guys about my capabilities, and yeah. Oh, and by the way, I have a Patreon. I will definitely be putting that information on my YouTube page, but it'll be a lot more engaging, and you'll get even more like than what you get from here. And I also wanted to be very clear and known that because Patreon is, service like it is paid for, that is priority. So even if something happens where I can't make it to YouTube, I will definitely remain active on Patreon. You'll probably know what's going on with me firsthand there before you find out here. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for those of you that have stayed and have been very patient. And I appreciate those who comment like you've missed me, because I've missed being here. And I'm just truly amazed. I feel truly blessed, and I appreciate where I am. Oh, and if you guys are wondering why I'm locking up my hair, one, I've always thought about it. And two, my boyfriend was like, you would look sexy as fuck with it. So I was just like, you know what, babe? It's time to do it. So we both locked up. We're on our lock journey, and this is how I'm going to be looking. So don't judge me. The colorful Empress Kate will be back, but I kind of got to get through this part first, right? All right, you guys. That's all I got for you.